of areas within Roy, but it is available. Our intent would be is to consider a little broader look. So it's coming.
It's my understanding that the company that did the proposal and the work with Clinton is actually a Roy-based company.
It is. And they seem to be pretty excited about the opportunity of considering expanding in Roy. So, to us, what we want to look at is in terms of what we see the role and responsibilities of local government in terms of providing that service. And to be honest with you, there has been some hesitation on your part as a council, and definitely from staffs in terms of trying to come up and bonding for about a $28 million bill. We think there's some options out there that may not necessarily require that from the city. And so we'd like to pursue and continue pursuing that. So I will indicate to you we've made contact. And with that contact, we think there might be some things we'll be ready to present to the council and ideas maybe we ought to consider pursuing. Just a little reminder, last Saturday, Ann and I were able to attend the Operational Homefront. 200 service members were in fact involved, asked to come down to Kent's. Kent's did an incredible job with the team from the Operational Homefront group and provided groceries and the kinds of things that a lot of these families in the military could benefit from. I can't tell you how many people actually came through where their husband or their spouse was deployed. And sometimes those deployments are 6 months to a year. So this was an incredible welcome. But more importantly, I think what they took away from, and Nan can talk to this as well, is the fact is that this is a community that cares. And we care about our military personnel. And they showed it at Kent's the other day, and we had a great time and a great opportunity to be part of that. So I wanted to share with you, they also gave away, I think, 10 of those kayaks, and they were pretty pumped, the people that seen that and part of that. So I had an opportunity to meet with all of them as well. I'll let Travis clarify, but we believe for us who ordered park benches, that process, hopefully when we get cement, will be moving along and over this summer. So we could very well be in our public parks. Those who in fact have been invited and wanted to go ahead and purchase park bench will in fact be able to start seeing some of that this year. So we're excited for that. So that'll be a great welcome.
How many have you purchased? I mean, how many are available for people to buy?
Well, I only bought one, but they were working that project, I believe, for all the parks. So
I'll get the groups and I'll send an email tomorrow with exact.
okay, but there was a number of residents who signed up, and they were pretty excited about the opportunity, particularly when you're able to put a little sign on it, maybe a saying, a comment on it. So we were excited about that. And last comment, if you can provide some information. Maybe the staff knows, we had another restroom, public restroom that got damaged. I heard on 6,000. Is there any truth of that? Yeah. Okay. Obviously, we've got a problem. We've got to find a solution.
So I have a question about that because I know in the proposed budget there are cameras in next year's budget for that.
Yep.
The question I had is there enough money in the council contingency budget that we could pull that forward and get them now and start working towards that versus waiting until next year, because it's a problem. I walk a lot of the parks and talking to the employees that are down there. It's not happening late at night. It's happening in broad daylight, all hours of the day. And, obviously we could get a campaign going, see something, say something, but I also think that we need those cameras. And I'd be curious to see if we could fund that this year on a vote from the council versus waiting till next fiscal year.
We actually were able to track down a little bit of money, and we're planning on getting cameras and magnetic lock systems at Emma Russell Park and the 6,000 trail restrooms. One of them projects, I don't remember which order this is. One of them will begin next week, and the other one about 2 weeks after that. So we're going to be in the process of doing that. We'll take the money right now because you're right, it is a problem. And you're also correct. We had one happen one day where we can pinpoint and tell you that it happened between 11:45 a.m. and 1:15 p.m.
Oh, interesting.
You know, I mean, we can tell you, we had people go in there at 11:45 and didn't have a problem and went back down there an hour and a half later and had major damage.
Was it
So
during a weekday, during school?
it was during school.
Hmm.
It was during school.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a very challenging year with that, and we're short staffed right now, and my guys, frankly speaking, are spending way too much time trying to clean and maintain them, and we're not able to get out and mow and fertilize and do the things that we really need to be doing because we're spending way too much time trying to fix restrooms, and we hope that adding camera systems, adding magnetic locks that we can lock at night, we're hopeful that can help in this process. If not, you know, we might have to do what some other cities have done, and we don't want to do this, which is they open their restrooms during events. If they have games, if they have activities, if they have things like that, they'll open their restrooms. If they don't, they don't.
They stay locked.
Travis,
I think that's what you should do.
when you talk about the magnetic clocks, that means that you can set a time period when they are locked.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you can still, and just so you know, because it was a concern of ours, if somebody happened to be in there when it locked, they can get
They
out.
can get out. Oh, I see no reason for it to be open during school hours.
Me neither.
You know, you say that, and
I know.
You know what? I will say
it's
that
not
I
even-
walk it, but there are people in those parks all day long.
And
Well, they play
Walking
pickleball
dogs.
and
We have a
stuff,
big demographic in this city, age-wise, and so, you know, there's people playing pickleball all day long, walking their dogs.
And there's also the mothers who bring their 4-year-olds to the
Okay.
playground,
Okay,
and hey, listen, it might get to that point, and I like restrooms at parks. I like people being able to use restrooms and things like that. I'm not saying I don't want that, but I am also saying that it is severely taxing my team, both not only in time and man hours, but financially. And frankly speaking, something's got to give. And let's all hope that, you know, we get camera systems throughout and it helps solve the problem. But if it doesn't, that's going to be our next course of
They
action.
can have a honey bucket.
So do they have to be manually, I'm sorry to perseverate on this, do they have to be manually set, or can you set it?
Well, you
to
can
be
set them
a-
with Wi-Fi. I mean, like,
So
meaning,
like, could they be open for an hour in the afternoon, an hour in the morning?
Sure.
and
Sure.
Would that address
Maybe
it,
you could-
Joe,
yeah,
or
maybe
is
you
that
could put-
still too?
A sign there, what
Prohibitive.
hours they're open.
I
Yeah.
think that would help, definitely.
Yeah.
And those are things, if you guys want to discuss, we can discuss
We can think
setting up
about that.
times for them, you know, and what times they're opened and what not.
Yeah, you know, Emma Russell's the one I walk the most, but I can speak. There are people there from 6 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night walking. I walk multiple times throughout the day, and
Go to
If
the
they were
bathroom
open
before
for
you
an
leave.
hour, it might almost be easy to do some surveillance on that for an hour, as opposed to a 5-hour period. It would be hard to do any kind of
That's a great point.
monitoring.
It's an
If you
absolute
know
great
the
point.
bathroom's not gonna be open at a certain time, then you just have to make sure you go, or take your kid in the bushes. I don't know.
Well,
I just
well, and
think
like I
that
say,
you gotta do something. I wanna catch the
That's not
kids.
encouraging.
What
Me
will
too.
happen
yeah,
to
then
them
Roy
if they
City
get?
Council member will hit
I
the
know.
newspaper for public indecency.
I'd
prefer not to use the bush.
What happens to a kid that gets caught vandalizing?
I
What
would
will they
defer
get?
that question to the prosecutor.
So that's a very loaded question. I'll tell you from my experience, both here at the city and when I worked for the county attorney's office. Park vandalisms are quite frankly the hardest cases because the quality of cameras are usually not good enough for a criminal prosecution. So I would just kind of warn everybody, if we're going to spend money on cameras, get cameras good enough that they're useful in court.
Yep.
We've worked with IT that we feel that will be accomplished.
Perfect.
What about some signs, just like I said, you know, you see it with the
something,
train
say
stations, UTA, different, see something, say something,
Right.
that we've got our number on there. I know it was last summer that I went down there and there was kids up on the bathrooms on top of the building, ripping off shingles and breaking the things. And I stopped and read them the riot act and called the police right there and waited until an officer showed up. And
At this point, we're willing to try anything. If we think that's a good idea, we can put up signs, you know, with police dispatch's phone number, and if they see something, to please contact police dispatch. I don't want my staff, we're not trained to detain people or things like that, but
I agree
I
with
have
the
no
police
problem with
dispatch
putting
number.
police dispatch number up there, and if people see something, yeah, it'd be ideal. It's like a lot of things in life. 99.9% of the people that go to our parks are wonderful. They're very respectful. They use the amenities and things like that. It's that 0.1% that, you know, is causing grief for all of us. You know, we haven't been able. We bought a bunch of hand sanitizer things that we put throughout parks. They get ripped off. You know, what people find fun to do in restrooms and parks, I don't get, and maybe I never will. But it's unfortunate for us, you know, as a city and my staff.
It is their tax money that's supporting
Absolutely.
that, so.
Absolutely.
If they were willing to say something,
Yeah,
it
and
would certainly help the
I have
greater
no
community.
problem getting with Public Works and having them making us some signs and putting up throughout various park locations.
Okay, would you take that as an action and look into that?
Absolutely.
And then maybe in the next meeting, you report back. And then we
Okay.
look forward to having some feedback, Travis, in terms of how your implementation of locks and cameras will go, okay?
I just got a text message from a citizen. He's a member of our business advisory board. He's willing to start a GoFundMe project to help with cameras too. So maybe some private donations might be helpful.
I'm never going to turn down money, but the city council has an opportunity. We've got some money put in this upcoming budget for
I
us.
seen
think
it
our
in the budget.
businesses would be willing to sponsor, say, a restroom or that kind of thing.
My concern is, you say upcoming budget, that puts us out at least a month and a half.
Yes, sir.
Can
And-
we move the project up a little bit sooner?
That's a good idea. too.
I think what probably will be best to do is get with Matt and Camille and check budgets. And I can't afford it in mine, but if there's more money lying around, then we'll take it and we'll keep going. We won't stop. We'll pick another park after the 6,000 and Emma Russell, and we'll just keep going and keep
Sure.
that crew busy until they're all eventually completed. So yeah, we'd love to have it.
Okay.
Are the cameras being watched, or are they only for looking back after vandalism as a record in the?
We would go back. I mean, it's not like we would actively be using them. I think they do have the ability, Camille, I think you might know this better than I, that we could like pull it up on our phone, you know, maybe staff of the Parks Department pull up our phone at any point in time and see what we see. But obviously you can't put, one of the challenges is you can't put cameras inside the actual bathroom.
Correct.
You know, so what it's going to be is hopefully being able to time it out and say this was the last person in there, and then one of our staff came and we knew there was a problem then. So
Okay, work the details, Travis. We appreciate that, and I look forward to some updates.
Okay.
Because this is important. Thank you.
thank you.
Council, great comments. Okay, with that then, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, Diane and Joe, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you. And